All right, welcome back to the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, our all-star panel for you guys here today. And what I want to talk about right now is LeVeon Bell. It's decision day for Bell and the Steelers tomorrow. Ron, I think it's going to end up like last year. I don't think Bell's going to work out a deal, even though he says they're closer than last year and the Steelers say they are closer than last year. I don't think anything gets done.
Well, I think that way too until I read that Mike Tomlin actually spoke to somebody in the media, I guess some radio station in the Hamptons where he's vacationing this month, and said he's real optimistic they're going to have some positive news tomorrow. That's very unlike Tomlin to me. I don't know. I hope they do sign him. I hate to lose great players, and I think he's a great player. I'm glad they brought him back for one more year, and if they don't get it done and he leaves after this year, I'll be okay with that too. But my preference is that he stays and tries to help Ben win another Super Bowl in these next few years.
Based on what I read on CBS Sports, Tomlin gave that exact same interview to that exact same outlet and said almost exactly the same thing last year.
Your memory's better than mine.
Well, I read it today before we came on. So, I mean, I don't take much stock in what Tomlin said there as far as being anything but a last-ditch hope that LeVeon Bell comes down. And maybe this is just a big plan by Bell to stay out for as long as he possibly could until the number has to be met and he needs to drop down to 12.5 or 13.1, which apparently were the two high points at various times the Steelers came to. And at this point, I wouldn't do it if I'm the Steelers. I would rather just go through one more year with him, because now if he's asking for 5 years, you're 1 year deeper into that contractual progression at $13.1 million, where the wheels could fall off. I mean, look at DeMarco Murray, who just retired this year. In a year, by the way, where Buffalo probably wanted him in case something bad happened with Shady McCoy, he just decided to hang him up because he's too beat up. I would be concerned about Bell on the back end of this deal to that effect.
For me, I think this is a little bit similar to Mike Wallace thought he was worth X. The Steelers thought he was worth Y. Mike went and got his money on the open market. I think LeVeon would absolutely get whatever number he sets out there. I think teams, if he's productive this season, I think teams would meet it. The irony here, it always has been for me, is that he is as valuable as he says he is, except on the Steelers, because the Steelers have enough weapons around Ben that they don't need him as much as the Browns would, as much as the Texans would. I mean, those teams would pay the money LeVeon wants. So, and I think that LeVeon will get his money, and I think he'll get it next year.
See, I disagree with that part. I think they'll miss him if he's gone. Like, just because LeVeon Bell has other options and Ben Roethlisberger has other options to throw to if LeVeon is out, I think the Steelers as a team would miss him dramatically if he was gone. I think for them to win the Super Bowl this year, Bell, Brown, and Ben all need to be upright, healthy, and performing at all-pro or at least Pro Bowl caliber levels for the better part of 12 to 13 games each for the Steelers to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, they're not going to lose him this year, though. I mean, he's back no matter what. And I think if you lose him after next year, you know you're going to lose him, and you can prepare to find a replacement for him with a lot of money to go out and spend, either to draft somebody or find another free agent that might cost a little bit less. But I think he's just so valuable to the team. And Ben talks about this all the time, about how, especially in the no-huddle offense that they love to use, he doesn't have to come off the field. You can line him up as an extra receiver. I really do hope they get it done. And if it's a bad deal towards the end, it's not guaranteed. I know it'll count against the salary cap. I hope they find a way to keep him.
Well, I'm a pessimist. I don't think they'll get a long-term deal done. But before we go to the break, real quick, do you think that he will show up to camp at all during this time? Real quick. We only have a couple seconds.
I don't.
No. Especially with that tweet that he sent out before the weekend about the whole patience thing, sort of alluding to his own running style, tongue-in-cheek, and making a double entendre there. I think he's trying to tell them he'll sit out for a while, maybe even beyond camp.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't see him sitting out beyond camp. He's got to play to get the big money next year.
Yeah, I think it'll end up happening like last year. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about the Penguins and if the team stays the same here at the beginning of the season. That's all next on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.